Welcome back to Silverstone and the Power Max Mini Challenge. This is the third and final race of the weekend. It's the reverse grid race, and after a frantic early start, it's still Lee Patterson and Lawrence Davey who are fighting for the lead, and David Grady very much in the mix as well. So it's currently Lawrence Davey has got the advantage. Grady up into second, Patterson in third, but chasing down the gap. He's bringing Ben Spallog with him for company, and then we've got Charlie Butler-Henderson in fifth place. These cars all in the F56 class. This is the JCW class. Merkel instead in the thick of the action, trying to take the class lead. But losing out eventually to Neil Newstead. Newstead has been the dominant driver in the JCW class all weekend. What about the Cooper class? This isn't the battle for the Cooper class lead. This is for fifth in the class, but it seems to involve pretty much everybody else as they are all queued up behind Adam Davey, heading out of Chapel Curve down the hanger straight. Davey in the blue car dared look in his mirrors because all he will see is Mini as they head down on this longest straights of British motorsport. Heavy braking zone for Stowe Corner, and Mark Wakefield looks to the inside of Davey. Davey gives him racing room. Mark Wakefield should be able to ease past Henry Neal, the next in the train, also looking to make the move. This, the fight for the lead of the Cooper class between Ricky Page and Nathan Harrison. Then we've got Max Bladen and Max Lever fighting to complete the podium. This, the fight for the F56 class. The race overall, Lawrence Davey still clear of David Grady and then Lee Patterson. And that leading train now beginning to move away from Charlie Butler-Henderson, who's up to fourth in class. So drivers trying to make progress. Harry Volcard and William Phillips amongst them. So of course race 2 winner Ryan Rhodes has not really featured that heavily during this third and final reverse grid race of the weekend. But it's always the challenge of when do you make your move to try and pick your way up through the order. So another lap reeled off, and Lawrence Davey still leading the charge. David Grady settling in behind him, and then Lee Patterson, everybody else flashing through. Nick Foster also progressing strongly. There is Rob Smith, retirement in race 2. He's just ahead of William Phillips. And now Patterson beginning to see Lawrence Davey building that advantage over David Grady, and this is the point at which Lee Patterson will need to pounce. Now, will he be able to get that run out of Chapel Curve? While Max Lever applying the pressure to Max Bladen. A pair of them almost bumper to bumper through Brooklands on towards Luffield. And they're beginning to run out of laps here. There's Lever quite as quick as Bladen out of Luffield. He'll need to make up that ground in the toe through Woodcote. Meanwhile, Ricky Page leading from the front, but now Nathan Harrison begins to ask all the right questions, looks one side then the other as they head towards Copse Corner. He can't quite find a way past him. What about Bladen and Lever? Likewise, no way through, as in the JCW class. This isn't the battle for the lead, this is for third place between Kevin O'Connor and Hamish Brandon. Brandon in the Panda Racing car, all over the tail of the blue machine of O'Connor, as Henry Neal has moved up ahead of Mark Wakefield into fifth place in the Cooper class. This is an absolutely ferocious fight. It shows the very best of the Power Max Mini Challenge, which is, although they're battling so hard, the racing is very clean and without contact. Nathan Harrison looks to challenge Ricky Page for the lead of the Cooper class, and he goes around the outside of Page and gets his nose in front of Ricky as they head towards Vale. And more importantly for Harrison, it gives him track position for the left-hander at the Vale. That's what he does on the brakes to the inside. And then the never-ending right-hander at Club as they pick up the throttle, however, nice and early. Meanwhile, fight and lead the race is all coming together once more. Charlie Butler-Henderson has bridged the gap to the leading trio as David Grady looks to the inside. Lawrence Davey, and Davey outride onto the AstroTurf. That is the opening that Lee Patterson was looking for. Patterson already passed David Grady, who had to get out of the throttle, and now Lee Patterson chasing Lawrence Davey as they hurtle towards the braking zone at Brooklands. Patterson just snatches the brake as they head through the left-hander, then on towards Luffield. Lawrence Davey having an immensely difficult race here, because leading from the front in championships such as the Mini Challenge really takes some doing, particularly on a circuit like Silverstone where you can slipstream. Another lap completed on towards Copse Corner. Davey turns in just with a slight dab of the brakes. The same for Patterson. Butler Henderson now up into third, and David Grady demoted off the podium. Much better race this time round for Charlie Butler Henderson. Meanwhile, in the JCW class, Kevin O'Connor keeping Hamish Brandon behind him. Keith Issat has also joined this fight for the final spot on the podium. With these three classes all on track at once, you never know where to look for battle. There is Neil Newstead, the JCW class leader. Urkel Lindstedt is some way back, and then we've got this fight for third place. In towards Copse Corner, Brandon thinks about looking to the inside of Kevin O'Connor, but O'Connor making life difficult here for Hamish Brandon by doing all that he needs to do, which is sticking to the racing line, letting those around do the hard work. We return to the fight at the front of the F56 class and the race overall, and it is still Lawrence Davey, but under increasingly sustained pressure from Lee Patterson. Patterson through Stowe, Butler Henderson in third, has a 5-view of the action as Patterson darts for the incredibly late move on the brakes. To the inside, Lawrence Davey, beautifully judged by Lee Patterson. A little bit of contact as Davey tries to fight back through, and that may just cost Davey second place. Indeed it does, because Butler Henderson sneaks past Lawrence Davey. Right, here's a look at it from Davey's perspective. Incredibly late on the brakes from Patterson. And then Patterson moved across just in the nick of time to cut off Davey's approach into club. That meant Davey got out of the throttle. Turn gave Butler Henderson the means to get back past, and they are now in the thick of the Cooper class as well. But here is the fight for the lead of the race. We are getting very, very late on, and Davey looks to retaliate as Patterson makes a mistake on the brakes into Stowe. Lawrence Davey reclaims the lead of the race. How long for will remain to see as they all fan out on the brakes into the Vale, and Patterson braking a little bit deeper. Lawrence Davey reclaims the advantage. Head round Club Corner, just a few turns remaining. JCW fight for third, still in favour of Kevin O'Connor from Hamish Brandon and Keith Issat. As they head through Beckett's and proceed on their way to the Hangar Straight. This is Brooklands for the final time, and Lee Patterson, it's been a frantic race with Lawrence Davey, Charlie Butler Henderson and the rest of them. All of this leading group are all queued up as Patterson gets almost some assistance from Davey as he accelerates now out of Luffield for the final time. They come on towards Woodcote, and it is going to be victory, is it, just for Lee Patterson. He takes the win from Lawrence Davey in second and Butler Henderson in third. That leading trio separated by fractionally over 0.2 of a second at the line. Brilliant, brilliant racing. So a look then at the results, with victory to Lee Patterson, second for Lawrence Davey, third Charlie Butler Henderson from David Grady, Ryan Road and William Phillips. In the JCW class, it was another win for Neil Newstead from Urkel Lindstedt, with Kevin O'Connor withstanding that pressure from Hamish Brandon to complete the rostrum. And in the Cooper class, Ricky Page finally had to give second best to Nathan Harrison, with Max Bladen rounding out the podium from Max Lever and Mark Wakefield. So for the final time this weekend, the chance for the drivers to celebrate on the podium at Silverstone, with Lee Patterson taking his place on the top step of the rostrum.
Managed to get a good start. To be honest, I probably pushed a little bit too hard to get to the front. With 2 laps to go, I really was struggling for front end grip. I could see them like dicing behind me. I just thought, mid-corner, I just kept stopping it, leave them lot to fight over themselves. I just kept firing it out corner. So yeah, a bit of tactics came in towards the end. At one point, Lawrence did actually get past me, but I just held it on outside at the corner and got back past. So yeah, good race, close race. Disappointed with race 2. Just fired myself off on cold rubber. I think we had the pace this weekend to win all 3.
Yeah, absolutely smashed the start up to I think about P3 before corner 1. Neil had control at that point. I needed to get past Kevin O'Connor because he drives an extremely wide car. So I got past him, really happy. Then before I knew it, I was up to P2. And then second lap, I took Erna out of here down the straight and up to P1, and then just literally I just flew. They put rocket fuel in that car, I'm sure they did, because it was absolutely on fire.
I don't think you could get any closer than that. Ricky had a good start and he gapped us by a little bit, and I managed to come through to second. We were slowly catching him and we managed just to hold him off and get past him.
So 9 races into the season, this is what the championship looks like. In the F56 class, Charlie Butler-Henderson leads, only just from David Grady, with Rob Smith and Ryan Rode closing fast. Amongst the JCW runners, Neil Newstead building a handy buffer over Hamish Brandon and Urka Lindstedt. And in the Cooper class, Ricky Page leads by just a handful of points from Nathan Harrison, and the pair of them some way clear of Mark Wakefield.
A jam-packed weekend of mini racing comes to an end, but it won't be long before they're at it again. Our next pit stop is Brands Hatch for the Mini Festival, which is always lots of fun. Until then, don't forget you can keep up to date with all things PowerMax Mini Challenge on our website, Twitter and Facebook page. See you at Brands.